Hello there everybody, I hope you're all doing well, and as the title suggests, we're going to be looking at some Nike football shirts today. So as I was updating my website with my latest purchases, of course one of those was the Nike International shirt that I bought for the Brazilian team, and as I was doing that I realised I now have 50 individual separate Nike shirts in my collection. And I felt like that was a nice round number to have a review of what I have, and then pull out my favourite 10 shirts that I own. I'm going to do this based purely on design, so I'm not going to really take into account value, obscurity, etc. And of course, this is based on what I like to see on a shirt. By now you kind of understand what I'm looking for. With Nike, they certainly do use templates with regards to a lot of their shirts, and luckily for them, the templates that they use are actually not too bad anyway. But a lot of the shirts that are going to feature here are some of the more out there designs. And looking at the top 10, these aren't ranked in any particular way, so first, last, it's just my favourite 10. I noticed that a lot of the clubs, in fact most of the clubs, are the sort of the premier clubs that they're affiliated with. So it seems like if you're one of the bigger nations and one of the bigger clubs, you'll get more effort put into your design. But you know, that's just how things are, unfortunately. I think that this is a pretty decent 10 Nike selection. But you guys can obviously offer your comments below. So obviously a lot of them you've seen before, so I'll try to be brief in my description. So without further ado, my favourite 10 Nike shirts that I own, purely based on its design. So to begin, we have this Club America third shirt from 2021, and yeah, it's pretty obvious why this shirt is in my collection and why it's in this list. It definitely does stand out and catch your eye. Now for Club America, they do release really good shirts regardless, whether it be their home, away or third shirts. If you are a supporter of their club, I think, and if you do collect all of their shirts, your collection will be pretty very nice indeed. But it was one that I knew I had to pick up. I've been waiting for a while to pick up Club America shirt, and I don't know what I was waiting for in particular, but this would have been what it would have been. And it did cost me quite a bit of money. I think it was like £80 because I bought it pretty much as soon as it was released. It's not often I do that, but for this one I had to make sure that I was able to find it and buy it. I'm not sure how available it is right now. I know that it kind of disappeared pretty much as soon as it appeared. So if it's still available, then this is definitely one I would recommend. But if not, then maybe you can find one on the sort of the second-hand market at some point. I just love the crazy design. It's not something that you see every day, and I love the fact that they're able to incorporate what is probably common for Mexico to have a decent amount of sponsors. They're kind of hidden away quite nicely there, so that's why I like this shirt. Next up we have this Atletico Madrid home shirt from 2017-2018, and I wanted to buy this for two reasons. Firstly, because the design, I quite like it, the vertical stripes running down the front, which are then sort of broken up with this sort of slash effect. It's not something, again, you see too often in a football shirt. But secondly, I did try and buy Atletico Madrid home shirt before, and if you've seen my fake shirt video, that's one of the shirts that I ended up buying that did actually end up being fake. It was at the beginning of me collecting, and looking back now, it was quite clearly going to be obviously too good to be true, and it was going to be quite apparently a fake. So I just wanted to get rid of that and replace it with something that was genuine. I think I got this one towards the end of the season, so the price wasn't all that much, maybe £30 to £35. And I just think it's really cool. Atletico Madrid, of course, one of the bigger teams in world football, so it's not going to be too difficult to find this shirt. They've released some decent shirts over the years. Recently, sort of the third shirts have been pretty nice, and the away shirts have been okay also. But for me, I'm pretty happy that I own this one. I don't feel like I've missed out on anything else waiting for this. The sponsor, though, is the only thing that I could probably maybe want to change. But other than that, I'm pretty satisfied with this design. Okay then, so this one is of course Inter Milan. It's their home shirt from 2014-2015, and this was possibly the first major team that I added to my collection. So I started collecting 2014, and I bought this shirt, I remember it was around about Christmas time of 2014, so it may have been possibly the new year into 2015. So of course the season was coming up to about halfway through, and because I was relatively new to collecting once again, I ended up paying, not full retail, but on here it was £57. If I'd have known, more about wait until the season is almost finished, I probably would have been able to pick it up for something less, or at least I would have hoped to. I think I would have bought something for less. But at the end of the day, I wasn't too upset when it arrived because I just love the design. I love the really thin, the sort of pinstripe vertical effects. The fact that it's more I don't know if you classify it as black. I think it's black than blue, which is kind of the opposite of what Inter Milan home shirts usually are. It's at the very least half and half. It's very, very, very cool design. It's one that you don't see floating around too often. It's one of those ones where if you've seen it in real life, you'll really appreciate how good it looks. And it's one that I've seen for sale quite highly priced, certainly more than the £57 that I paid for. So if I was able to sell it, I'd probably get a good amount of money for it. But it was my first ever big purchase, and to be honest, I wasn't upset with what I received. Okay then, of course it wouldn't really be much of a list if I didn't have some sort of pink shirt hidden away, and of course this Barcelona third shirt from last season is a perfect prime example of that. Now this one stands out a little bit more than a lot of other ones because this is the authentic player issue version. It is the Vapor Knit. I decided to spend a little bit more money on it because it is Barcelona. It took me a while to add that to the collection, and it is pink, so I thought, hang on a minute, let's just go for it, get something really nice, something really special. So I bought this one again towards the end of last season. I can't quite remember the price. Was it £49.95 or something like that? So for what is a player issue version, that's not a bad price. I just love it. I love the sort of the colour of the logo. It mixes in with the sort of the trims on the collar and on the sleeves. And it's just simple, it's nice. It doesn't have a crazy design like some of the ones that I'm going to be showing and have shown. But it's just an example of what Nike can do when they try and just keep it sort of simple. I've been waiting for a while for Barcelona, and for me this one was probably their best shirt that they've released, sort of at least recently. Now we head to Russia for the next shirt, and it is of course the third shirt from 2017-2018. A lot of third shirts here. It seems that's where Nike get to play about a bit with the design, and for the two reasons why I bought this one. Firstly, because I like collecting Russian football shirts. I don't know what it is, but just something about it just attracts me to it. And secondly, gold on any football shirt is going to be amazing. Is there a pink and gold football shirt? Now that would be a pretty nice combination. Or would it? If you know of any pink and gold football shirts, let me know. This one I had to pick, and also I like the sort of the diamond effect that runs across the sleeves there. Very, very nice. And plus purple. You don't see all that many purple shirts, so it had a lot of things going about it. Similar to other football shirts, I bought it towards the end of the season. Can't quite remember how much I paid, but I don't think it was much more than £35. And similarly, I looked on classic football shirts, and they've had a few on, and they've generally been selling for about £55-60, so there's a little bit of money there. But it's a fairly simple design if you sort of ignore the shoulders. It's again another pretty standard Nike template, but for me, very, very nice and very, very cool. Okay then, now we head to South Africa, and of course we have Kaizer Chiefs, and it's their home shirt from 2019-2020. So I got this for a Christmas gift a couple of years ago, and it is similar to the Club America shirt. It has its own particular design. It has this Fibonacci mathematical style design, which sort of starts at the crest and then sort of spirals its way out. And it was similar to Club America. Kaizer Chiefs have a great selection of kits, not just this season or last season. You can go back even 20 years, and they've been producing amazingly designed shirts. So if you do focus on those, and I know there are people who just solely collect Kaizer Chiefs, that would be a very nice team to collect for. This one, I bought it just mainly because of the design and because it's always nice to add a African team to the collection. It's something that I'm trying to work on, but it can be very tricky. The price, with it being a gift, obviously I got it for free effectively, so that I cannot complain about. So it's just one of those shirts that it's nice to own, and it's also quite funny when you find people selling knockoffs and fakes, because the design is kind of intricate. When you see like a really bad fake, you can just see it just absolutely does not make sense. So that's quite nice to see when that happens. But I think you'll agree, very unique at the very least. Now we're back with another of the big boys, and it's the away shirt from 2018-2019, and of course it is PSG. PSG, one of the clubs that I'm not really a fan of, just from rival and history. But I'll admit they do release quite some nice shirts. There's some good ones sort of historically going back, and then of course recently a lot of the shirts have been really nice, especially the Jordan stuff. But I sort of shied away from that. The home shirts have not been amazing, but the away and the third shirts and the fourth shirt, that pink one, that one I was really tempted to buy, but because I already had this one, I felt like I didn't really need it. So this one I bought for two reasons, because it's got gold accents on and the logo, very, very nice. And then also because of the colour, it's not quite white. I wouldn't say it's full on cream, but it's getting closer to cream than anything else. And it reminded me of an AC Milan away shirt that I have. I think that might be 2014, 2015. That one's an Adidas one, and that one's a beautiful, beautiful shirt. I love the cream on that. I love cream on shirts. Sounds a bit weird, that doesn't it? So I had to pick this one up. It's just really simple. I like the collar styling. I like the button. It's just very nice. I think I bought this one from Soccer Box or something like that. It was like £45 again, so it wasn't super cheap, but it's not a shirt that you see too often for resale. So just a nice one to own. Of course, a Nike list featured by myself would never be complete without the presence of this Corinthians shirt. Of course, it is the third shirt from 2018-2019 and is their special Ayrton Senna tribute shirt. So it's a combination of both the two sports that I'm most interested in, which of course is football and Formula One, and it has a lot of the styles that I like, primarily black and gold, and the small little details with regards to the sort of the horizontal stripes, count to how many races he's won, and just how difficult it was for me to find this football shirt kind of adds to it also. You know that I was searching for this for about 2 years, and then it eventually appeared in classic football shirts at a very, very high price. But because I was gifted it for Christmas, it was not the worst thing to receive. It's just a beautiful shirt. I really like it. It sits pride in my collection. I sort of usually hang it up so I can see it. And yes, just very, very nice. And I just love the fact that there's no commercial sponsor and it's just Ayrton Senna's signature on the front there. So very, very nice. Now, a slightly less known team in Turkey, of course, and it's Trabzonspor, and it's their away shirt from 2017-2018. And this shirt I actually bought directly from the club store. Obviously, it came all the way from Turkey, and the reason why I went for it was just because I love this diamond sort of crazy fade effect going on the bottom there. In fact, I kind of feel like I missed out an opportunity because Macron, I think it was the following season for Auxerre, they released the exact same design for this shirt. And would it be Macron, it would have been very nice also. I thought it would be quite funny to be able to compare them, but I just didn't buy it, and then it appeared again, and then for some reason I didn't buy that one, so just one of those things that I just, for some reason, just didn't go for. But I have this one, so it's not the end of the world. Plus the fact that it is Trabzonspor, it's a club that, at least when I bought this, there weren't too many floating around, but recently with Macron now taking the reins of them as well, I think, it's been easier for people to be able to buy them because they can go through like classic football shirts. They seem to stock quite a few of them. But for me, very, very nice. I've never really seen this one resale also, so it seems like it's kind of slightly rare. But just a really cool design that's not floating around too often for Nike, but maybe for other manufacturers. And we finished the list off with Venezia, of course. It's the 2020-2021 home shirt, last season's home shirt. And it's the club that is kind of in the sort of mainstream right now. It's in they caught everybody's attention, firstly with these Nike shirts that they released, and of course the Kappa ones that have been subsequently released for this season. So they are no longer with Nike, which is a shame, but I will happily admit that the Kappa shirts are very nice. Also, kind of put me in a bit of a dilemma. Do I stick with this one, or do I get one of the Kappa ones? Because I think they're going to be one of those sort of designs in the future that people are going to always refer back to. I don't know on that one. But for this one, I'm very, very pleased. It has, of course, just the club name as a sponsor, which is not the worst thing in the world, though I'm not obviously too bothered about any other style of sponsor. It has a combination of colours that just isn't found frequently around the world. Orange, green and black. That's the only thing that I would probably say with regards to the new home one, is you don't quite clearly get that sort of feeling from the shirt, but without seeing it in person it'd be difficult to comment. But it was pretty decently priced. Was it £40? Of course it sold out really quickly. I saw one on vintage football shirts recently sell for, I think it was £75 like instantly. It didn't take too long to go, so clearly there still is a demand for it. But that's it. Those are my 10 Nike shirts. I have a few of the ones that could have played some part in this list. Like I have that Celtic one there, that's quite cool. But a lot of them are sort of similar to the Apoel shirt hanging there. Interesting sort of template-based designs, but nothing that stands out that's like different compared to the ones that I've shown you here. I have a lot more shirts that are more unique and obscure, and maybe I could refer to those at some point also. But for me, Nike, they're always going to be associated with a major team, so that's where you're going to be finding a lot of the better designs. Anyway, which of these shirts do you think are the best? I'll let you decide. And which of the shirts do you also own? Because if you do, well done, because it's a good choice. Anyway, I'll see you on Friday for a very, very cool, special, and expensive video. And I may have already made a bit of reference to it in this video. Anyway, I'll see you then, and you can find out what's going on. Until then, goodbye.